welcome back to my channel, guys. Today I have brought you two different eye looks, one on one side and one on the other. Just thought I would run through a tutorial that could give you some diversity and help you learn how to do two different eye looks. So I start off with my handy dandy Urban Decay eyelid primer in Original. And what I'm going to do today is on one eye I'm going to spend time teaching you guys kind of the traditional cat eye look. Something that is pretty universal, a lot of people like to use it, it's pretty popular. The other eye I am going to be doing a halo eye look. It's kind of relatively new, and I think that it's really easy to look at pictures of halo eyeshadows and just be in awe because it's so pretty, and I appreciate the shape it gives my eye. I'm going to start with the Naked Basics. Kind of wanted to run through this a little bit and why Naked Basics are so good, because they can look bland if you don't know what you're doing with them. So you can see the array of colors from right to left. So you've got lightest to darkest. Wanted to show you, kind of swatch it on my arm. Now you can hardly see anything. That is the highlight. It's kind of got a shimmery pearl to it. That first one I grabbed was a yellowy tone matte. The second one is a pinky tone matte. And so you can't even see the yellow on my skin because I'm more warm toned. And this is a transition color, what we call a transition color. It is meant to serve as either a standalone for like a really low-key look or a transition to a darker tone. So you can see that second darker tone on there. I usually use two transition colors before I go into that really dark tone, just because when you're stepping into a really dark tone, you don't want to go from really bright to really dark. It can look really like garish. So first thing I did was grab my Royal Langnickel medium shader, and I'm just taking the yellow matte shade and putting it literally over my whole lid from my lash line up to my brow. Now the reason why I do that is because when I'm going to put the shadow on my lid to blend and to contour my lid out, I need it to be able to move, and the primer is like a magnet. Now this eye, I'm going to be doing, see, that one is the halo eye, I think. I might have mixed them up. The other one might be the cat eye. So this is important. This is key in your eye look. This is a shader brush. It's usually dome shaped. That's the best shape to go with, because the edges are shorter than the middle, and it will literally flick the pigment around. Instead of creating a harsh line, it'll easily create a really diffused look, and that's what you want when you're going with most eyeshadow looks. Now this is a trick. Same thing as the eyebrow. Find that line where your arch should be, and that's where you start your pigment. And if you start your pigment there and then blend from side to side and through the crease, then you'll find that you'll have a much more blended transition color, instead of, sometimes it can feel blotchy, but it also gets really blotchy when you put on your primer and you don't put on that nude color first from lash line to brow line. See that flick, flick, flick? That's another key. If you have too much pigment on the end of your brush, you'll deposit too much in some place and it won't move. So make sure you flick, flick, or tap, tap, or do whatever. Don't blow on it. It's not sanitary. Now this is the secondary transition color, and I'm creating a more of a shade on the edge of my eye to create the illusion of more depth than there really is. So I'm creating kind of a V shape right where the edge of my eye would be, and then carrying it through the rest of my lid. Now this is the cat eye. Now this is my pencil brush shader. Now the important part about this is that it's got a tip on it. It's got a finer tip that will allow me to create a finer line. That can be really key when you're getting into looks like this, because if you have too much black where you already put your transition, it's gonna totally defeat the purpose of the transition in the first place. So you can kind of start to see the line that I'm creating, and I'm just tracing right down the center of that V that I made with my dark transition, and then right where I want my crease to be. I did this black line right exactly where my crease is, but you can also, I'll do on my halo eye, I will do a higher crease than where my natural crease is and show you the difference. So you can see me blend, 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 blend. I'm just taking a brush with no additional pigment, and I'm just blending as much as possible to create a more diffused look. And there's my shader again, just taking my matte yellow and redepositing some of the color. This is another technique to try and blend your shadows together. I didn't grab a ton of pigment, just enough to put them more down. Right now I'm putting that same matte yellow right on my above my transition color. This kind of gives you an idea of the shape. So this is a great base when you're getting ready to put some really cool shimmer on, or if you want to put a totally different pop of color. Now this side I'm going to do a halo eye, which is totally different effect. I'm going to use the exact same colors so you can see the difference. I'd put on a little more yellow matte on that side since I didn't put enough first time. My handy dandy shader, going to my first transition, and this time I'm going to start on my inner corner. You want to put all that color right in the center. You want to think of your eyelid as like a round ball, and if you look at a round ball with a light right in the center of it, all the shade is going to be around the edges. That's what we're creating here. So that same transition color on the outer corner, and then I'm pulling it across a little higher than where my actual crease is. So I wanted to show you how different it can make your eye look if you give more space to your lid, even if it's not actually there. You can kind of see where my eye crease is naturally. Just pulling that transition color through. Now you can tell it doesn't look finished. There's my secondary shade. Now I'm just putting a little bit on because I don't want to cover up that first transition shade that I had on. Pulling it through and blending as much as I can. I just can't get over the difference between my two eyes. I mean, I think I would know better for doing makeup for so long. Okay, now I'm taking my pencil brush and I'm creating that line. That same similar concept, I'm just doing it a little bit above where my natural crease is. It's actually where my eye socket is, not where my crease is, because I have a little bit of a double lid there. Blend, 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 blend. That was no additional color, just pulling it through. Okay, now you can really see the difference between my lids. That one's the halo. So your right side, if you're looking at the right side of the screen, that's the halo look. The left side, that is more of a cat eye look where most of the color is going to be deposited on the outside. This is me realizing I didn't put enough in the V shape, so I'm putting a little more pigment on that V. Now without lashes or eyeliner on, you're not going to look finished. It's going to feel like it's too much. This is me thinking, ugh, if you ever see me picking my lip or biting my lip, just smack me. Bad habit, bad habit. Now this is the Naked palette, the first one. Now this is another highlight actually, even though it's got a color to it, because it's got those flecks of color, light in it, it's going to act as a highlight on my lid. Now I chose to go with the golden tone because I wanted to show you the difference. I'm doing a golden tone on this one and my highlight directly on my lid. Now on the other eye, I chose a silvery tone, so you can see the difference and what it does to the look of the eye. Now I chose the same palette, but I chose the most silvery, champagne-y, pinky color, which is totally different than going golden. You can see the difference. Now I wanted a little more shimmer, so I went with a shimmer powder. This is a Pearl Shimmer Powder. I don't even know if they make it anymore. I've had it so long, but I love using it for that extra pop of light right in my eyelid. So I'm just patting that on, not brushing, because I don't want to mess up my contour and my blending previously, so I just pat it on. That was my Jane Iredale 24 karat powder. I'm pretty sure they don't make that anymore, but I could probably find a dupe if you asked. So there's the gold tone, there's the silver tone. Totally changes the look. Back to my Naked 2. Now time to do two different, my broken one. I wanted to do two different eyeliners so you could see how that changes the look too. So this one I'm choosing to do a shadow cat line, but I'm going to use a brush. Yeah, look at that color payoff. Ooh, Nelly! That was black. And then I realized, oh, I gotta get that off my finger. Because I am inevitably end up touching my face somewhere and screwing up all my other face makeup. So this is Urban Decay All Nighter Makeup Setting Spray. Now this is important if you want your makeup to last all day, but I have a dual purpose behind it. You can also use it to spray your brush to get it wet. You could use water, of course, but if you use setting spray to spray your brush and get it wet, and then turn your shadow into a liner, it will stay and stay. So here I'm just packing it on right on my lash line. So it's just a little bit damp, which creates a little deeper color payoff. I still don't use this as often unless I'm going for a softer look, because there is not as deep of color payoff as a gel or a liquid. And here I'm just doing the same technique like I do with my liquid liner. I'm following that line, and instead of aiming for the end of my eyebrow, because where my eyebrows are, I aim kind of in between the top of my ear and the edge of my eyebrow. That's just what works best for my face. Everybody's face is a little different, so don't hesitate to do something different. Now all I'm doing is taking a foundation brush that I had already used. You can see the color on there. There's no new pigment on there, but I just used it to brush off any extra shadow or if there's any fallout. But that's another advantage of wetting down your flat brush, which is what I used. And I never use that end. I don't know if you guys ever use it, but it just makes my shadow skip instead of blend out. So next I'm going to show you what 3 different types of liners would be. So the first one is just a traditional pencil. That one's really kind of gel-like. It's not very dry. Well, I mean, it's pretty wet for a pencil, I guess you could say. Now this is just a NYX liquid liner. Really fine tip. And the formula is pretty great. That is such a scary brush for me because there's so much play to it. But it has advantages to it. You can get a super fine line out of it. So I usually keep that one for like really fine artistry. And this is my beloved KatVonD liquid liner in Trooper. Now I love that pen. I don't know if you noticed, but it's literally like a brush that goes flat in places. Now you can see the sheen on those 3 different ones. The KatVonD is a little more flat, but not totally matte. And then you can see the NYX liner is a lot more shiny and not super fond of that look. I tend to put shadow, like black shadow, over the top of the NYX one because I don't like the shiny look. Kind of defeats the purpose of black pigment to me. And then the crayon or pencil is totally matte, which has its advantages as well. So here I'm just starting with my lash line. It's the best place for me to start, just because it takes me a second to get warmed up, I guess. So just depositing all of it along my lash line, and then usually I go for getting right in the tear duct area. That's usually when I know I'm going to start tearing up, if I'm going to tear up. Best advice I can give, always do it with your eye open. If you try to close your eye, it's going to change the shape of how it looks with your eye open. And if you do it like the middle school way, where you pull your eyelid really taut, girl, you're going to get wrinkles. So don't do that. Same thing, I'm going to be pulling that line right in between the top of my ear and the bottom of my lashes. Oh my gosh, bottom of my lashes, bottom of my brows. So you can see where it's kind of just gently creating that first line. Then I'm going to take almost to the end, not quite to the end, and then start pulling that line back to my lash line. Oh, it makes me nervous even just watching. I'm sure most of you can relate that liquid liner is super intimidating until you've practiced quite a bit. But I saw a funny thing on Instagram the other day that said, be careful, liquid liner can smell fear. Because it's true. So there you can kind of see the finished look. You can see the difference, see the color payoff difference? But they have their advantages. So here I speed it up a little bit because really this whole video tutorial was about showing you the differences in your eye. So that was my Better Than Sex mascara from Too Faced. I love that mascara. And I'm just combing out any clumps that I've got. But when you're going to do any of these eye looks, play with the color. Just keep in mind that you're going to have, ooh, fun trick. Get a white eyeliner and then line the waterline of your lower lash. It will create a bigger eye. I know a lot of people like to put black there, and I mean, of course, that's got its place too, but maybe for a daytime look, or if you really want your eyes to look really big, put the white there first, and then maybe put black under your eyelashes. Anyway, back to shadow. Play with the colors. You know, you've got your nude color, or what you could call your highlight. Then you've got your transition colors, so you can pick one or two. Shoot, you could even pick 3 if you wanted to. Just make sure that they're all within the same color family. That's why the nude palettes or the naked palettes from Urban Decay are so awesome, because you have so many transition colors to work with, and you have so many tones to work with that you can create so many looks. And then finally, pick what color you want to be your contour color. Usually keep that one as matte as possible because, oop, and there's my new lip color by Too Faced. I love it. Liquid lips. Just try to keep the look as matte as you can, and then keep all of your highlight. This is me complaining because I don't know how to do this. But thank you so much for watching my video, you guys. I really enjoy doing videos that are requested. This was requested by my friend Ashley, and I'm so grateful to be able to help teach people when they want to learn things. So please message me, like this, subscribe. Let me know what you guys would like to see. Happy to help. Bye-bye.